For the wives of Hollywood's top plastic surgeons, the idea of beauty is always under a spotlight. People often assume that even their natural looks must have been altered, with remarks like "your face has changed, you must have had surgery." The truth is, plastic surgery has become so deeply tied to wealth and desire that many believe the more money you have, the more perfect your appearance can become. But should there really be no limits to this pursuit? In the world of cosmetic surgery, perfection often becomes a battleground where people fight against time, insecurity, and the human urge for transformation. While the history of plastic surgery shows that it has helped many and is considered mostly safe, mistakes and obsessions in this industry can change lives forever, and not always for the better. Today we look into the stories of celebrities whose experiences with plastic surgery turned into disasters, starting with number 20 on the list, a woman named Hang Myoku. Hang Myoku was once a successful model and singer. At just 28 years old, she began seeking cosmetic procedures because she dreamed of having flawless skin and a more youthful appearance. Her pursuit of perfection grew stronger over time, and she even moved to Japan to undergo multiple surgeries. But as her obsession grew, doctors began refusing to operate on her because they felt her face had already been changed too much. When she returned to Korea, her transformation was so extreme that even her parents did not recognize her. At first, she sought help from psychiatrists who warned her about her unhealthy fixation, but she eventually stopped attending the sessions. Instead, she looked for surgeons who would agree to continue her treatments, and she found one who supplied her with silicone and syringes to inject herself at home. When she ran out of supplies, her desperation led her to a shocking decision. She began injecting cooking oil into her own face. This caused terrible swelling, scars, and severe disfigurement. Her once beautiful features were nearly destroyed, and her tragic story drew sympathy from the public. Many people donated money so she could undergo surgeries to remove the harmful substances and reduce the swelling in her face. Over the course of 10 operations, some improvements were made, but not all of the damage could be undone. Now in her 60s, Hang Myoku works in a second-hand clothing shop and depends on state assistance to live. More than anything, her greatest wish is to return to her natural face, a reminder of how a dangerous obsession with plastic surgery can lead to lifelong regret. Next is the story of Mickey Rourke, an actor who was once admired for his striking looks and talent on screen. His case is different from others, because his surgeries did not begin as a way to stay young or chase perfection. Instead, they were the result of serious injuries he suffered while pursuing a passion outside of Hollywood, professional boxing. Mickey had loved boxing since childhood and decided to pursue it seriously in the 1990s, even after he had already built a successful acting career. As an amateur, he had an impressive record with 12 knockouts during the 1960s and 70s, and when he went professional, he remained undefeated in 8 fights, earning 6 wins, 4 by knockout, and 2 draws. But his victories came with a heavy price. The sport took a brutal toll on his face. He suffered 2 broken noses, a damaged cheekbone, a split tongue, and even temporary memory loss. To repair these injuries, he underwent multiple reconstructive surgeries. Unfortunately, the results were not what he hoped for. Dissatisfied with the way he looked, he sought out more surgeries, but each new attempt left him further from the face people once recognized on the big screen. In the end, Mickey Rourke became almost unrecognizable. Over the years, he went through at least 5 nose surgeries and 1 major operation to fix his cheekbone. Looking back, he admitted that one of his biggest mistakes was choosing the wrong surgeon for his reconstruction, a decision that left permanent consequences. Stories like Hang Myoku's and Mickey Rourke's highlight 2 very different sides of plastic surgery gone wrong. In Hang's case, it was an unhealthy addiction and endless pursuit of beauty that ruined her appearance and quality of life. In Mickey's case, it was the harsh reality of physical injuries combined with unfortunate surgical decisions that drastically altered his face. Both serve as powerful reminders that while surgery can enhance or repair, it can also harm and distort in ways no one can truly predict. Another striking case is that of Anastasia Polishchuk from Kiev, Ukraine. At the age of 26, she began exploring cosmetic procedures such as Botox, veneers, chin and jaw reshaping, and liposuction. These treatments are fairly common in the world of beauty, but what makes her story unusual is not the surgeries themselves, but how far she went afterward. Instead of always relying on professional doctors, Anastasia took matters into her own hands. She began injecting fillers into her face by herself, often learning techniques through online tutorials. She claimed to sterilize her equipment carefully and approached the process as if she were a trained medical professional. Despite doctors repeatedly warning her about the risks of self-injection, Anastasia was completely convinced of her own abilities. Over time, her dedication to these fillers dramatically changed her appearance. She developed extremely large and prominent cheeks, which she has proudly made her signature look. Far from regretting it, Anastasia has embraced this transformation to the point of seeking recognition as the woman with the most prominent cheeks in the world. In interviews, such as one in 2020, she made it clear that she had no plans to stop self-administering fillers. Even though many medical experts expressed concern, she remained determined to continue on her path. Her story illustrates how personal desire for cosmetic uniqueness can sometimes grow beyond the boundaries of safety, leaving someone unwilling to listen to reason because of their confidence in their own methods. Another well-known case is that of Raji Naranizing, an American actress, singer, writer, and activist who is especially recognized for her appearances on the reality show Botched. Raji's journey into cosmetic surgery is one filled with hardship, resilience, and courage. In 2005, during her transition as a transgender woman, she sought help from someone she believed could feminize her appearance with inexpensive filler injections. That person was O'Neill Ron Morris, also known in Miami's transgender community as the Duchess. The Duchess was infamous for offering low-cost alternatives to proper medical procedures. Unfortunately, the fillers injected into Raji's face, breasts, and hips turned out to be a dangerous mix of substances like concrete, tire sealant, mineral oil, and even glue. Raji thought she was receiving medical-grade silicone, but in reality she was given a toxic mixture that caused devastating consequences. At first, she did not realize what was happening, but soon her body reacted badly. Her face and body began to swell, and painful nodules formed where the substances had been injected. Over the years, her appearance became a source of deep shame for her, and she often isolated herself, rarely leaving her home. She avoided treatment for a long time because she was afraid and embarrassed about what had happened. Her story reflects the dangers of seeking unlicensed practitioners and the tragic outcomes that can follow when unsafe materials are injected into the body. Thankfully, Raji's courage eventually brought her to seek proper help, and her appearances on Botched allowed skilled doctors to remove much of the harmful material. Though the experience was traumatic, she has shown incredible strength, using her platform to advocate for safe cosmetic practices while also continuing her work as a performer and activist. Then there is Simon Cowell, the famous English television personality and record executive, best known for creating and judging talent shows like The X Factor and Got Talent. Over the years, Simon's changing appearance has sparked countless rumors and debates. Eventually, in 2023, he openly admitted to undergoing cosmetic procedures. He confessed that he had gone too far in his pursuit of youthfulness, and the results shocked both fans and family. At one point, his face appeared so altered that some said he looked more like a character from a horror movie than the Simon Cowell people remembered. The transformation did not only affect the public's perception of him, it also had an emotional impact on his young son, Eric. Reports revealed that Eric was distressed by the way his father looked after the excessive procedures. Realizing the effect it was having, Simon made a conscious decision to change course. He had some of the filler removed from his face and began adopting a more natural approach. Instead of relying on heavy cosmetic work, he now focuses on gentler treatments such as facials. More importantly, he shifted his lifestyle toward healthier habits, embracing a balanced diet, drinking plenty of water, and prioritizing overall well-being. His story demonstrates how even those in the public eye, under immense pressure to maintain a certain image, can recognize their mistakes and take steps toward a healthier, more authentic version of themselves. One of the more unusual stories comes from Neven Sanovic, a 45-year-old Croatian celebrity stylist and reality TV personality. Nevin has long been known for his love of cosmetic surgery and his presence on Croatian television. Recently, he revealed a shocking and rather bizarre side effect from one of his latest procedures. After traveling to Iran to undergo his third nose surgery, mainly because it was more affordable there, he suddenly developed a rare medical condition called priapism. This condition, essentially a prolonged and painful erection, was triggered by an allergic reaction to the anesthetic used during his surgery. Priapism is considered a serious medical problem, as doctors warn that if not treated immediately, it can cause lasting complications, including permanent erectile dysfunction. Despite such an alarming outcome, Nevin has not lost his enthusiasm for surgical enhancements. In fact, he has stated openly that he still wants at least one more procedure in hopes of achieving the exact appearance he desires and, as he puts it, gaining global recognition. His story is both shocking and telling, showing how strong the drive for physical transformation can be, even in the face of frightening medical risks. Then we move to Cardi B, the American rapper who has won millions of fans across the world with her unapologetic lyrics, bold personality, and brutally honest approach to life. Unlike many celebrities who try to hide or deny their cosmetic procedures, Cardi B has been open about both her surgeries and the mistakes she has made along the way. During an Instagram live session, she admitted to having undergone a surgery to remove illegal butt implants. She explained that the implants, which were made up of about 95% biopolymer, had been extremely dangerous for her health. She spoke frankly about how difficult the process of removal was, and she warned her followers never to go through the same procedure under any circumstances. Cardi revealed that years ago, when she was working as a stripper, she felt pressured to enhance her body in order to succeed in that environment. She paid just $800 to get the implants done in a basement by someone without proper medical training. Later, she learned that the same person who had performed her procedure was linked to a tragic case where another woman had died from the very same injections. Cardi B made it clear that while she is strongly against unsafe fillers and biopolymer implants, she is not opposed to plastic surgery overall. In fact, she has openly admitted to having a nose job, saying she disliked the shape of her father's nose and wanted to change it. For her, the issue is not whether people should alter their appearance, it's about making sure those choices are safe. She insists that if someone is unhappy with a part of themselves, it is perfectly fine to change it, but always with licensed professionals and proper medical procedures. Her honesty about the risks and the lessons she has learned sets her apart in a celebrity world that often prefers to stay silent on such matters. Katie Price, the English model and media personality, also stands out in her willingness to talk openly about her plastic surgery. Unlike many stars who downplay or deny their procedures, Katie embraces the subject, speaking about her transformations with no hesitation. At the start of her modeling career, she kept a natural appearance. But by the late 1990s, she decided she wanted to make changes. In 1999, she went through her first major transformation, enhancing her bust size from a 32B to a 32DD and also reshaping her nose. As the years went on, she became more open and unapologetic about her choices. By 2011, Katie proudly referred to herself as totally plastic, showing no shame in the many surgeries she had undergone. Her procedures only became more dramatic over time. In 2016, she opted for fuller lips and smoother facial features. Just 2 years later, at the National Television Awards, her appearance had changed so much that some fans barely recognized her. From 2019 onward, Katie began undergoing yearly breast augmentations, and reports suggest that each implant weighs around 4.4 pounds. Surgeons have expressed concern that this level of repeated surgery could be dangerous for her health. Dr. Scofilax, among others, has publicly stated worries about how frequent and extensive her surgeries have become. Despite these warnings, Katie continues to pursue the look she wants, showing the same unapologetic attitude she has had for years. Her story is a reminder of how far some celebrities will go to maintain or reinvent their image, regardless of criticism or medical caution. And then, of course, there is Donatella Versace. Known around the globe not only as a fashion designer but also as the face of one of the most iconic luxury brands, her appearance has often sparked conversations about cosmetic surgery. Donatella Versace, the well-known Italian fashion designer and sister of the late Gianni Versace, has often been the center of public attention not just for her fashion empire but also for her striking and unusual appearance. Over the years, many people have speculated about the cosmetic procedures she may have had. Of course, unless Donatella herself decides to share the truth, no one can be completely certain about the extent of these treatments. However, looking at her face today compared to her earlier photos, it is almost impossible not to notice the changes. For a woman in her late 60s, her skin looks extremely smooth, with very few wrinkles, something that is rare and unusual at that age. This has made many people believe that cosmetic treatments have played a part in preserving her youthful look. Observers note that her nose now appears slimmer and more pointed, her eyelids look less droopy than before, her cheeks seem fuller, and her lips have taken on a new shape. These details suggest possibilities such as cheek implants, lip fillers, and other forms of facial enhancement. In 2014, Donatella was photographed with an especially shiny and tight look to her face, something that many experts quickly recognized as a possible sign of heavy Botox use. Mark Norfolk, a cosmetic surgery clinical director, explained that Botox can sometimes give the skin a stretched, shiny effect. It smooths out wrinkles and lines but can also make the forehead look almost glass-like. He also noted that it is highly unusual for someone of Donatella's age to have a completely line-free forehead. Her eyes sometimes look slightly half-closed as well, which can also be a sign of Botox treatments. Taken together, these observations strongly suggest that Donatella has used Botox or similar procedures to maintain her signature look, though she has never fully confirmed all the details. Whether admired or criticized, her face has become as much a part of her public image as her fashion work. A very different story can be seen in the life of Jackie Stallone, the mother of famous actor Sylvester Stallone. Jackie lived a long life and passed away at 91. Unlike Donatella, who has kept quiet about the details of her appearance, Jackie openly admitted her regrets about some of her cosmetic surgeries. She once said that failed procedures had left her looking, in her own words, like a chipmunk with a mouthful of walnuts. This blunt honesty made her stand out in Hollywood, where many people try to hide or deny cosmetic work. Jackie also shared details about her personal struggles. She had suffered a heart attack in her later years, and on top of that, she went through deep sorrow when her daughter Toni and her grandson Sage both passed away within her home. These tragedies were heavy burdens, but Jackie showed resilience in the way she continued to live her life. Despite her age and health challenges, Jackie was known for her very active lifestyle. She lived in a beautiful Santa Monica condo near the ocean and filled her days with activities she loved. She took tap dancing lessons 3 times a week, worked with a personal trainer twice a week, and spent 2 hours a day playing the piano. She was not interested in the flashy, glamorous Hollywood party life. Instead, she believed in being an example for older people, showing that age should not stop anyone from living fully. She even said that after turning 50, she felt she had become a role model for movie stars themselves because the idea of growing old scared them the most. Jackie proved that aging could come with strength, energy, and even new opportunities for admiration. While she admitted that plastic surgery had not always worked out in her favor, her openness, her humor, and her determination to stay active made her an inspiration to many. Perhaps one of the most famous and widely discussed transformations in the world of celebrity plastic surgery is that of Michael Jackson. His changing appearance over the years became almost as famous as his music. Looking at photos of Michael as a young man compared to pictures taken shortly before his death in 2009 shows an astonishing difference. Reports from various sources suggest that Michael underwent a large number of cosmetic surgeries, some done by choice, others to fix earlier results that had not turned out well. His story with plastic surgery is said to have begun with his nose. At first, Michael was nervous about getting rhinoplasty and even asked his sister LaToya to have the surgery before him so he could see the results. Once he was happy with how hers turned out, he decided to go ahead with his own operation in 1979. That was the start of what became a long journey of cosmetic alterations that would follow him for the rest of his life. Doctors and experts have often debated just how many surgeries Michael may have had. Dr. E. A. Gorbis, who specializes in body dysmorphic disorder, suggested that the number could have been as high as 100. This included multiple nose jobs, cheek implants, eyelid surgeries, and even the creation of a cleft in his chin. Dr. Wallace Goodstein, another surgeon who worked with Michael's medical team in the 1990s, explained that Michael sometimes had surgeries every 2 months and could undergo 10 or 12 procedures in a single visit. Over time, the results of these changes made Michael's appearance so different that his ethnicity became hard to recognize. His skin tone also changed dramatically, which further fueled speculation and debate around his appearance. Michael's case is often remembered as a cautionary tale about how far cosmetic surgery can go when it becomes an ongoing cycle without clear limits. While his talent, music, and artistry continue to be celebrated worldwide, his transformation raised questions about the pressures of fame, personal insecurity, and the extreme lengths people might go to in order to change their looks. Many fans and critics saw his story as both fascinating and tragic, a reminder of how complicated the relationship between beauty, self-image, and public expectation can be. Together, the stories of Donatella Versace, Jackie Stallone, and Michael Jackson show 3 very different sides of cosmetic surgery. For Donatella, it appears to have been about maintaining a striking and youthful look that matches her high-profile role in the fashion world. For Jackie, it was something she came to regret but later accepted as part of her journey while still embracing life with energy and humor. For Michael, it became a lifelong struggle that changed not only his appearance but also how the world viewed him. Each of these lives reflects the powerful impact that cosmetic surgery can have, not just on how people look, but on how they are remembered. Jessica Alves, who was born Rodrigo Alves, is a Brazilian-British television personality known for her dramatic transformation through cosmetic surgery. She was born in São Paulo, Brazil, on July 30, 1983, to a Brazilian mother and a British father, Roosevelt Alves. Her father's family had roots in Europe, having immigrated to Brazil in the 1940s. At first, the family worked in agriculture, but later they became successful in supermarkets, shopping malls, and real estate. Jessica often recalls her childhood with fondness, especially the times her grandfather bought her Barbie dolls, which meant a lot to her. Although she was born male, Jessica always felt feminine and expressed this side of herself from a very young age. She would dress up, play with dolls, and embrace her identity as a girl as early as the ages of 3, 4, or 5. She has always believed that gender should not be something that restricts or categorizes people. During her teenage years, Jessica experienced a hormone imbalance that caused her body to produce extra estrogen, which led to the development of breast tissue. Unfortunately, this also brought bullying and cruel treatment from her peers, making her early life very challenging. Over time, Jessica chose to change her appearance to match how she had always felt inside. Her journey included an extraordinary number of surgeries and procedures. By 2018, she had undergone more than 103 cosmetic operations, which cost her over £500,000. Of these, 51 were plastic surgeries. Some of these procedures, particularly the many nose surgeries, even caused her to lose her sense of smell. Despite the risks and difficulties, Jessica continued with her transformation, determined to align her outer appearance with her true self. A different but equally striking story is that of Linda Evangelista, one of the most famous supermodels in the world. Over her career, Linda appeared on more than 700 magazine covers and was celebrated for her beauty and elegance. However, in recent years she has spoken about a deeply painful experience involving cosmetic treatment. Like many others, she was drawn to advertisements for CoolSculpting, a procedure that promised to reduce fat without surgery and with no recovery time. Linda admitted that she was tempted because she was a little vain and wanted to target stubborn areas of her body. Between 2015 and 2016, she underwent 7 CoolSculpting sessions, hoping for positive results. But 3 months later, instead of slimming down, she noticed strange bulges developing around her chin, bra area, and thighs. These areas were not only growing but also hardening and becoming numb. When she sought medical advice, she was diagnosed with paradoxical adipose hyperplasia, a rare side effect that happens to less than 1% of patients who undergo CoolSculpting. This condition meant that instead of shrinking, the treated fat cells grew larger, and no amount of diet or exercise could fix the problem. The results were devastating for Linda, who had always been admired for her looks. The condition left her disfigured in ways that deeply affected her confidence and career. In response, she filed a lawsuit against the company behind CoolSculpting, Zeltic Aesthetics, seeking $50 million in damages for the physical and emotional suffering she endured. Linda's story is often shared as a reminder that even seemingly safe, non-surgical treatments can carry risks, and that beauty procedures can sometimes lead to life-changing consequences. Sharon Osbourne, the outspoken television personality and wife of rock legend Ozzy Osbourne, has also had a long history with cosmetic procedures. For years, she was open about the many surgeries she had undergone, from facelifts to laser treatments and other enhancements. She often said she felt no shame in admitting that she liked to make changes whenever she thought they were needed. However, in her 70s, Sharon decided she had finally reached the end of her cosmetic surgery journey. Her decision came after her last operation in 2021, when she underwent a facelift that lasted 5.5 hours. She later described the experience as dreadful and admitted she was deeply unhappy with the results. She even said the surgery left her looking like a cyclops because one of her eyes looked different from the other. The procedure made her realize that time was no longer on her side and that she could not risk another surgery going wrong. Although Sharon has had a long list of cosmetic treatments throughout her life, she has now made peace with stopping, realizing that her health and well-being are more important than further attempts at physical perfection. Another notable figure in the world of cosmetic surgery stories is Priscilla Presley, the actress and former wife of Elvis Presley. Like Sharon and others, she has experienced the highs and lows of aesthetic procedures, though her story stands out in its own way. Priscilla Presley, well known for her connection to Elvis Presley and her later success in business, has often been the subject of speculation about cosmetic surgery. However, the exact details remain unclear, since Priscilla herself has never confirmed or denied specific procedures. Over the years, various doctors who have looked at her photos but have not treated her have shared their professional opinions. One doctor, David, observed that her face appeared overdone, most likely from too much cheek filler, which he believed even affected her ability to open her eyes properly. Another expert, Dr. Anthony Yoon, suggested that she may have had a facelift, while others pointed out signs of possible skin resurfacing treatments that could have caused long-term damage. There are also troubling claims that Priscilla might have once fallen victim to an unlicensed cosmetic surgeon, Dr. Daniel Serrano. He was known in Hollywood for performing procedures at cocktail parties and convincing clients that his injections were superior to Botox. In reality, however, he was reportedly injecting industrial-grade silicone, the kind used for lubricating car parts. Such substances carried severe health risks and caused lasting harm to those who trusted him. If true, this experience may have played a part in the uneven changes that people noticed in Priscilla's face over the years, though she herself has never spoken in detail about it. Moving from Priscilla to a more unusual case, we come to Jocelyn Wildenstein, who is famously nicknamed Catwoman because of her distinctive feline-inspired appearance. Now in her 80s, Jocelyn looks dramatically different from most people her age, which has kept her in the public eye for decades. She insists that her unique look is not the result of countless surgeries but rather the gift of her Swiss heritage. She attributes her appearance to genetics, comparing her smooth skin to Swiss chocolate and joking that it's just another beauty secret from her homeland. Still, many people remain unconvinced. Jocelyn herself has admitted to undergoing a multi-million-dollar surgery to shape her eyes into the cat-like allure she is known for, so her claims of natural beauty leave plenty of room for debate. Adding even more to her unusual story, Jocelyn faced a court ruling that banned her from using her alimony money to fund any more cosmetic procedures. The ruling essentially told her that her days of endless transformations at someone else's expense were over. While she continues to insist that most of her look is natural, the public remains skeptical. People often ask whether her appearance is truly due to genetics or whether it has been dramatically shaped by surgery. The debate about Jocelyn is ongoing, and her story continues to fascinate because of how unusual her transformation has been. Heidi Montag, another well-known figure, learned the hard way that not every cosmetic procedure brings happiness, even when it comes at no cost. Famous for her role on the reality TV show Laguna Beach and later The Hills, Heidi embarked on a dramatic transformation in her early 20s after receiving offers for complimentary procedures. The promise of thousands of dollars worth of surgery for free sounded like a dream, but the reality was far more painful. At just 23 years old, Heidi underwent a grueling 16-hour surgery in which she had 10 procedures performed in a single day. These procedures included a brow lift, chin reduction, Botox injections, and other enhancements, all done at once. To make matters worse, she was given a dangerously high amount of opioid pain medication during recovery, leaving her weak and fragile. The physical and emotional toll of the experience was far greater than she ever expected. Over time, Heidi began to realize that she had not truly needed most of these surgeries in the first place. She admitted that her insecurities had driven her into making choices she would later regret. Now older and wiser, Heidi openly advises others who may be considering surgery for the wrong reasons to take a step back and really think about why they feel the need to change themselves. She encourages people to talk with professionals and trusted loved ones before making such life-changing decisions. While she does not completely oppose plastic surgery, Heidi believes people need to be more aware of the struggles that come with it. She points out that the glamorous before and after photos people see online rarely show the painful recovery, the complications, or the feelings of regret that can follow. Her story stands as a reminder that altering one's body is not always the solution to insecurity and that it can come with risks no one expects. Another name often mentioned in this discussion is Joan Van Ark, a television actress who rose to fame with her role in the popular soap opera Knots Landing. Joan was admired for her striking beauty during her acting career, but in later years she became a different kind of headline when her appearance noticeably changed. Observers have long speculated about the surgeries and procedures she may have had, and her case adds yet another perspective to the conversation around cosmetic surgery and its long-term effects. Joan Van Ark, the well-known actress, has always preferred to keep her personal choices about plastic surgery private. She rarely talks about it in interviews, but when people compare her older photos to her recent ones, the changes in her appearance are hard to ignore. In earlier pictures, Joan had a very natural look, but over the years, her skin now looks much tighter and smoother. Many experts believe she may have gone through several cosmetic treatments such as facelifts, collagen injections, cheek implants, Botox, and even a brow lift. Some people who saw her in 2020 commented that her face looked unnatural, almost like it was melting. Dr. Anthony Yoon, a plastic surgeon, suggested that her major changes could be the result of 1 or 2 facelifts that left her neck and jawline looking too tight. He also noticed that her forehead looked wrinkle-free and smooth, which could be the result of Botox or a brow lift. Even though Joan has never confirmed any of these treatments, the strong speculation suggests there might be some truth behind the rumors. As people often say, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. Carrot Top, whose real name is Scott Thompson, is a famous comedian and actor known for his loud personality, unusual style, and funny stand-up shows. He has been on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno and even worked as the announcer for Cartoon Network. While his talent and energy on stage made him popular, his changing appearance has often been a subject of debate. Over the years, Carrot Top's looks have gone through many phases. At different times, he has appeared slim, muscular, and slim again. This has made people question whether these changes were the result of lifestyle adjustments or cosmetic procedures. However, Carrot Top has always strongly denied having any plastic surgery. He insists that his chiseled jawline and toned face are simply due to his workout routine and dedication to fitness. He even jokes that if he had plastic surgery, he would probably look better than he does now. Despite the rumors, he stands firm in saying his appearance is the result of exercise and not surgery. Pixie Fox, on the other hand, has gone to extreme lengths with her plastic surgery journey. At 33 years old, this North Carolina native has gained fame worldwide for her shocking number of procedures. She became known for her dream of transforming into a real-life cartoon character. Her story was even featured on the TV show Botched, where famous surgeons Dr. Terry Dubrow and Dr. Paul Nassif refused to perform more surgeries on her because they felt she had already pushed the limits too far. Pixie's list of procedures is extremely long and includes some painful and risky ones. She had her jaw intentionally broken and reshaped to create a smaller profile, 6 ribs removed to achieve a tiny waist, for breast enlargements, several lip injections, fat injections under her eyes, liposuction, butt lifts, brow lifts, and even ear surgery to make her ears look more elf-like. She also went through an eye surgery to change her natural eye color. In total, she has had more than 20 different cosmetic procedures. Despite doctors warning her about the dangers, Pixie still wants more surgeries. She has openly expressed her wish to get an eyelash transplant and even a procedure she calls a baby flower surgery, which is meant to reshape her genital area in an unusual way. Pixie's story shows just how far some people are willing to go in order to achieve the look they imagine for themselves, even if it comes at the cost of their health. Then there is Jo Tuna, one of the youngest names on this list. She is a 17-year-old Chinese influencer who became famous on Weibo, China's popular social media platform. Unlike many others, her fame comes almost entirely from her public documentation of her plastic surgery journey. She started getting surgeries at the age of just 13 after being bullied in school for her looks. Her classmates mocked her, gave her mean nicknames, and often excluded her. Feeling hopeless, she convinced her parents to allow her to get double eyelid surgery, which was her very first procedure. After this surgery, she noticed that people treated her much better, which only encouraged her to continue. Over the years, Jo has had over 100 surgeries, including fillers, nose jobs, breast implants, Barbie eye surgeries, liposuction, and even procedures using cartilage from her ears. Her pace of surgeries slowed during the COVID-19 pandemic, but even then, she managed to undergo about 20 procedures in a single year. Her parents have reportedly spent more than $620,000 on all her surgeries, even though they tried to stop her in the beginning. Jo sometimes threatened to quit school if they didn't support her. Sadly, the surgeries have left her with permanent scars, memory loss, and other health issues, but she insists that everything was worth it. She believes her transformation has given her a better life, even though it came with pain and risks. Together, these stories highlight different sides of the world of plastic surgery. Joan Van Ark represents celebrities who stay quiet but still spark speculation. Carrot Top shows how quickly people can assume surgery is the cause of physical changes when it may just be lifestyle differences. Pixie Fox takes us to the extreme of how far someone can go when chasing a fantasy appearance, while Jo Tuna reminds us how young people, under social pressure and bullying, can turn to surgeries as a way of trying to fix their struggles. All of these cases reveal how society views beauty and how powerful the desire to change one's looks can be.